So let's first start with Tiger Woods, who got into a car wreck and then found himself arrested on suspicion of DUI in Jupiter Island, coming outside of like a marina club, a water club at Hope Sound, which is where he's technically from, not Jupiter Island. And it just, I got a text, in the afternoon that it happened. I don't know, a couple hours after when it happened, from one of my friends, Brian Taylor, on the Real Golf Radio Show, who shares on Golf News Net Radio. And he's like, "Hey, you seen this about Tiger?" And I was editing a video, and no. And then he said, "You probably should, check it out." And just to get the details and how quickly it seemed like, oh no, here we go again. Your first thought, I think, when anything like this kind of happens is everyone involved okay? As someone who was in a rollover car wreck last year, unfortunately, I'm okay. The first thought now that I have is, all right, did anyone lose their life? Is anyone horribly injured in a way that they can't repair? And fortunately, that didn't work out. But the initial reports had me wondering whether this was going to be a single car wreck, right? Kind of like what happened, 5 years ago outside of Los Angeles, as he was heading to a Golf Digest video shoot after Riviera, and was just going a zillion miles per hour on a road where he shouldn't have, and lost control and flies across the road, and probably could have killed someone else in the process there. And it wasn't a single car wreck in the end. I mean, it was in a way, but not really. There was apparently a truck pulling like a pressure washer, and Woods was turning, I guess, too quickly coming out of wherever he was coming out of, or just going too quickly the road before he realized what he was up against on this kind of neighborhood 2-lane road, which was not particularly wide. And he realizes he's going to, hit this truck or the trailer, and just kind of clips it and rolls over. And fortunately, everyone involved was okay. I'm sure that the person who was driving the truck was kind of spooked, but then you have Jupiter Island police show up. They call the Martin County Sheriff, who comes in, their department, who they want to kind of check out Woods under suspicion of DUI. He refuses to take a urine test once they kind of pull him back in, but they're pretty sure he's under the influence. He doesn't blow anything on the breathalyzer, but Woods knows not to incriminate himself, so he's gonna decline the urine sample, which probably would prove there was some kind of drug in his system, whether it's prescription, whether that's otherwise, that is unknown because the drug test wasn't done. So he winds up getting arrested under the suspicion of DUI for property damage, and then for refusing a lawful drug test in this case. So he had to spend 8 hours incarcerated under state statute, and then was released on bail. And we'll see when the trial date is and what becomes of all that. How aggressive the county prosecutors are in charging Tiger Woods, and what they want to go after, what they want to get out of him, I guess, other than, would they just want to convict him and go hard on it and get some jail time, or do they want to pull back because he's a celebrity? And I thought it was kind of interesting, the Martin County Sheriff, who spoke at 5 p.m., 3-ish hours after the incident happens and Woods is arrested. He gave a very, very good briefing. I mean, he told you all the key details. He answered all the questions as thoroughly as he could. He was done in 9 minutes. That's how it's supposed to work. I mean, he was very good with the public and the media for that. So, all right, Tiger had what effectively is the third DUI, right? There was one in 2017. Obviously, he wasn't in a good state in 2009. That didn't really lead to charges necessarily, and then the one in 2017 where he was pulled over and said that he was dealing with an issue related to prescription medication kind of reaction, and that left him in a bad state. If you've been arrested for DUI multiple times, then you've done it a bunch of other times when no one caught you, most likely. I mean, you're just getting caught is just a percentage of the number of times that you've done that. Whether that's 5 times, 20 times, 100 times. Well, I don't know what the number is, right? No one does except Tiger. but that's too much, right? That's too much. And to have it happen multiple times, you kind of run to a place. And he's gone to therapy for such things, for rehab for such things in the past. Different types of addiction. This feels like something that, for a guy as famous and wealthy as he is, that you can eliminate 99% of the risk of this if you have a driver, if you have someone who will just take you everywhere. And I know Woods likes cars. I know he likes to drive. I'm sure he likes to get himself around. I mean, most people do, right? But you're so wealthy. You have so much value on your life. You have so much cultural importance. I mean, and that's even before you put everything personal into it. You're a father of two. You are dating somebody. They have kids, right? And I realize that's a high-profile couple that dating Melissa Trump, and Kai Trump is pertinent to that. And the Trump name is on the presidency, right? But even at a core level, if you're transporting people you love, and if you ever do it in an altered state, or that's even a possibility, that's a pretty big problem. If you're doing it repetitively, it's something that really matters. And there really hasn't been much public comment about this. I mean, certainly nothing substantial from Woods at all about this, and I'm sure he's not really sure what to say. Right? The way it's detailed, it sounds pretty bad. Like in the middle of the day and at a relatively high speed in a neighborhood, you've kind of rolled your car over like that. There's no talking your way out of that, I don't think. And so now what happens next? And the media reaction to this has been particularly, in some pockets, very off-putting. I know that some of you have probably seen videos from different people of different media outlets kind of pining for, oh, you don't understand, or you have to feel for Tiger or whatever. I think at a certain point you've got to kind of put your foot down as a fan or as a golf observer and just go, look, this guy isn't above the law. He's not above societal norms. He's not above just kind of playing by basic rules here. If you have an issue with any kind of prescription or substance, the first job is to go seek help, is to get better. And the second job is to not endanger other people around you, whether that's the people that you love or whether that's the people that are just going to be in your way, right? The public, the person driving that truck. I mean, if things go differently, who knows how poorly that person could have been injured or killed. And you have a duty to protect those things. You protect yourself, protect your loved ones, and protect the people you've got to interact with, because they don't need their lives made worse because of your decision making. And I don't think it's going to come to that. I don't think he's going to probably get a slap on the wrist from the legal system. I don't think that the PGA Tour is going to remove him from the future competition, group that he's been working on. The future of the PGA Tour. He's obviously very intimately involved in that. That's not going anywhere. He may be less visible, but I can't imagine he's going to be taken out of that. And as it relates to TGL, he had just played in TGL. I mean, a week ago, I was in Florida for TGL to watch his team play. I didn't get to watch him play that night. I saw the first night, and he played the second. But he just participated in that. He's a co-founder. He's a co-owner in that. And as a public-facing figure for that, maybe the ownership piece isn't as important, and it probably helps to a degree from a public memory perspective that this happened at the end of the TGL season, not before he's about to go play it again. But does that just kind of give him the free pass to come back next year and try to act like nothing happened? I mean, it seems like the Masters would be out of the cards, but I don't know. I mean, I assume so, and I would assume Augusta National would somewhat quietly say, "Don't bring that here. Like, don't do that here. Please don't." So my guess is he's not going to play the Masters. But all of that stuff is relatively unimportant. The golf, the business stuff, to the human being, and there needs to be a lot of work there. That's all I can say about it. And we all need to work on ourselves. I'm not trying to throw stones in glass houses, but this is a particularly serious thing, and something has to be done, and that has to start from within. That all things do. It has to start from within.